Shavua Tov, Daf Hey in Chulin. We're starting 12 lines from the top. The Gemara is going to bring another proof to Rav Anan, who says that a Jew who's an idolater, who's Ovid of Zara, and he slaughters an animal, is it kosher or not? Rav Anan says it's kosher, and the Gemara wants to bring a proof from the pasuk by Elijah. The pasuk says, "Va'arvin mevin lo lechem." Elihu was in the desert running away from Achav, and ravens brought him lechem, bread, ubasar, and meat, ba'boker in the morning, v'lechem ubasar, and bread and meat, ba'erev in the evening. V'amar b'd marav, where did this meat come from? This meat came from Beitavchi de Achav, from the slaughterhouse of Achav, and Achav was an idolater, and his men also were idolaters, and therefore, how could Eliyahu eat from his meat? Must be, you can eat from an idolater's meat. The Gemara says, Al Pia Dibur Shani, Hashem, the Dibur, which means that the voice of God was the one who commanded Eliyahu that he can eat it, and therefore, don't bring me a proof from when God allows something. That doesn't make it a rule all the time. God allowed it, so therefore it was okay. Asks the Gemara, my arvim. What does arvim mean? Arvim mamish, there were actual ravens. Amrli Rav Ada bar Yomi. Maybe no, maybe there were two men that their name were Arvim. Their name was Arvim. Not that it was actually two birds. Mila Ksiv does not say it was Erev Bitzor, Erev Zev. You see from this verse that Erev is also the name of a person. So maybe Arvi means also the name of people. Amrli Visra Moi Milsa. Was it a coincidence that the Tarvayu both have a Shmai Arvin? Both of these people, the name was Arvin. Could it be that it was a coincidence? And where says okay, fine. So it wasn't that they were both. Their name was Arvin. Vidilma al Shem Koiman. They were from a location called Oriv, and therefore they're called Arvim. Milak Siv, does it not say Va'aram Yotzu Gedudim? Aram left armed Vayishbu mi Eretz Yisrael, and they captured from Eretz Yisrael Na'ara Ketana, a Na'ara Ketana, V'kashalon, and we have a problem, a question on this verse. Kari lo Na'ara calls her a Na'ara, which is a girl over 12. A Kari like Ketana, Ketana is a girl under 12. Which one was it? The Amr of Padas, and Rav Padas explains Ketana Dimin Neuran. Really, she was a Ketana, she was under 12, but she was from the place of Neuran. So just like we see over here, that even though something sounds like a description of the girl, really it's just a location where she's from. So too, also over here, it should be Arvim just means the place where they're from. It says the Gemara, no, Imkain Arviyim Mibayla. It should say Arviyim with an extra yud, which would imply that they were from the place of Arvim. From the fact that it says Arvim, must be as actual ravens. Let's bring another proof to Rav Anan. The Bryce says, anyone can shecht, even a kusi, even an uncircumcised Jew, even an Israel who's a mummer who does averis. Who is the Israel? If it's because his brothers died with some circumcision, he's a regular Israel. What's the chiddush to teach me that he's Israel who just can't be circumcised because he might die? If his shchita is okay, that's pashut. Ela pshita must be mummer la'arelos. He is a mummer. We're talking about someone who bedafka, even though he can circumcise himself, he does not want to. He's a mummer. He's an over avera regarding his arla, regarding not getting a mila. Ema seifa. So with this, now we're going to try to explain the next part of the brayse. Vafil Yisrael mummer. The brayse continues. Even Yisrael who's an over avera. Echidami. What's this? If it's talking about a mummer for one specific thing, meaning everything else he keeps except for one thing, it's the same exact thing as mummer la'arelos. The fact that a mummer la'arelos, his shchita is okay, is not because specifically legabe mila. It's okay, only specifically legabe mila. It's fine. No, any one specific mitzvah that he ignores would not render him pasul to shecht. So must be. It does not mean mummer l'davar echad for one thing. Elalav mummer l'avad iskechavim must be talking about a mummer l'avad iskechavim like Rav Anan. That's what it's coming to say. The Gemara says no. Lo'ilam emalach mummer l'avad iskechavim loy. Really, I would say not like Rav Anan. There's no proof from this brayse. Why? An avad mummer l'avad iskechavim is someone who's an idolater. Even if he keeps everything else, he cannot slaughter. The Amar Mar, because we said before chamura avad iskechavim. Avodah Zarah is so stringent. Anyone who admits to avodas kechavim kikayfer b'chal terakula is as if he's denying kol terakula, and therefore it's much worse. Idolatry is much worse than any other avera, and therefore an idolater cannot slaughter. Ela mumar lo davar must be. We're talking about what's this case of the braysa, the Yisrael mumar, the added case in the braysa of someone who is a mummer. That's talking about a mummer oichel nevelos l'tei avain, like Rava. The Rava, like Rava said, that if you have someone who, for his appetite, when it's convenient, he eats kosher, but when it's not convenient, he doesn't eat kosher. And Rava said you can check the knife and you can shecht, and therefore that is what the Brisa means. And before we said the exact opposite. We tried bringing a proof to Rava, and we said no, the Brisa is talking like Rabbi Anan. So obviously the Gemara is playing devil's advocate that neither Rabbi Anan or Rava can bring a proof from the Brisa. Meisivei. Now we're going to ask a question on Rabbi Anan. Mikem v'loy kulchem. The pasuk says in the beginning of Vayikra, when someone wants to bring a oila, the pasuk says Adam ki yakrav mikem. A person mikem from you, mikem to bring a carbon, mikem from you, v'loy kulchem, not all of you, some of you. Who is this excluding lo hitzia sam mummer, which means to say that a mummer cannot bring a carbon. Mikem bochem chilakti. Only within you, only within the Jews, I made a difference between someone who's a mummer who can't bring a carbon. But amongst the goyim, the non-covenantals who want to bring a sacrifice, we accept their sacrifices in the Beis Hamikdash. And over there's no difference between one who is a mummer, is not a mummer, whether he keeps the 7 mitzvahs or doesn't keep the 7 mitzvahs. We accept the carbon from him either way. The only time I made a difference, I classified you into 2 separate groups, that's only within the Jews, not within the Ummahs. Mina behema, from in, the pasuk continues, Mina behema, you bring a carbon, Mina behema. What do we learn from this words, Mina behema? Says the Gemara, Lahavi b'nei Adam, this is to include people, Shedayim behema, that are compared to animals, they're animalistic people. Mikan Amru, from here we see Mekabel and Karbanos mi Pasha Yisrael, we accept sacrifices from Pasha Yisrael, evildoers amongst the Jews. How come? So that they'll do tshuva, because they'll bring a carbon, they'll do tshuva. Chutz, except for min hamumar, except for a mumar. Umenasech esayayin, and someone who pours wine to avodah zarah, which basically means he's an idolater. Muchal shabbosis b'farhesi, and someone who desecrates the Sabbath in public. Now the Gemara is going to dissect the Brisa. Hagufa kasha. There's an innate question within the Brisa. Amarta mikem loy kulchem. You said mikem, not all of you. Lo hitzias hamumar, to exclude the mumar v'hadatani mekabel karbanos pashei. And then you said we are mekabel sacrifices from someone who's pasheya. Says the Gemara halei kasha. That's not a question. Reisha mumar l'chol Torah kula. When we say you can't be mekabel from a mumar, that's by kol Torah kula. That's a mumar l'chol Torah kula. Someone who does not do any of the mitzvahs, who is disregards all the mitzvahs. But mitziyasa, the middle part of the Brisa is talking about a mumar l'davar echad, only one specific thing. In him you can accept a carbon. Ema seifa. Now let's understand the last part of the Brisa, chutz min mumar, except for a mumar. Umenasach esayayin umechal shabbos b'farhesya. Hi mumar echidami. This mumar in the seifa, what are we talking about? Mumar l'chol Torah kula. If you're talking about a mumar l'chol Torah kula hainu reisha, that's the same exact as reisha. Why is it repeating it? If it's only regarding one thing, like Mila, like an RL Kasha Mitziyasa, then the middle is a question, because the middle part of the Brisa says that if you're Mumul Davar Echad, it does work, it's fine. Elalav must be, what's the Zayvah talking about? Hachikamar, Chutz Mina Mumar, Linnasech Esayayin, someone who's a Mumar regarding pouring wine for Avodah Zarah, meaning regarding Avodah Zarah, Ul Chal Shabbos Farasi, and for desecrating the Shabbos in public. Alma, we see from here that Mumar Lavaris Kechavim, Hava Mumar L'chol Torah Kula is considered someone who disregards idolatry, is like he disregards the entire Torah, and Shechita is Pasol. And what the Brisa was saying is that in the beginning it's saying that Mumar L'chol Torah Kula is not good. But if you're a Mumar regarding one thing, it's fine, only if it's one thing that's not as stringent as Avodah Zarah or Shabbos. But if the one thing he disregards is Avodah Zarah and Shabbos, so then even though he's only disregarding one thing, it's as if he's a Mumar L'chol Torah Kula, as if he's disregarding the entire Torah, and his Shechita is Pasol. So from here the Gemara proves that Rabbanan is wrong. Asks the Gemara, do you learn this from here? Is this where we learn that a mumar cannot bring a sacrifice? We know this from a different verse. The Torah says by a korban chatos that the nefesh achas, if one person's techta b'shgoga me'am ha'aretz sins by mistake me'am ha'aretz, from the people of the land, meaning from the people. Now it says me'am ha'aretz, from the people, not all the people. Again, this is prat l'mumar. This is to exclude a mumar. And a mumar cannot bring a korban chatos. Rabbi Shimon ben Yossi Omer, Mishum Rabbi Shimon, Asher lo teyasena bishgaga v'oshem. He learns it from a different verse. Asher lo teyasena, if someone does something that's not okay, something that should not be done bishgaga, but he does it by mistake v'oshem, and he's guilty. Hashav midiyasa. From here he learns that someone who's shav midiyasa, which means if he would have not done the sin had he known that what he was doing was wrong. And if he knew what he was eating was prohibited to eat, then he would have not transgressed the sin. Miyidiyasa, he would have been shav from doing the avera. Then maybe carbon lashkigasai. Ain't a shav midiyasa, but if had he known it was also, he would still have done the transgression. Ain't a maybe carbon lashkigasai. V'amridan might be now. What's the difference between these two opinions in the Tanaim? V'amar Rav Hamnuna mumar lechol chaylev. If someone is a mumar regarding chaylev, which means he eats chaylev, he disregards the prohibition of chaylev, but he's maybe but he ate blood and he wants to bring a carbon on dam. He wants to bring a carbon for eating blood. That's the difference over here, because if you say a mumar can't bring a carbon, then he can't bring a carbon because he's a mumar. Even though he's a mumar regarding chaylev, he can't bring a carbon on the fact that he ate blood, because at the end of the day, he is a mumar. But if you hold shav midiyasai is the reason why he can't bring a carbon, so over here, had he known he was eating dam, he would have refrained from eating dam. The only thing he disregards is chaylev. So therefore, we'd say that regarding dam, you are considered shav midiyasai. You should bring a carbon. It's only regarding chaylev that he can't bring a carbon. That's the difference. Either way, we have a question: why do you need both of the psukim by before mikem and by meyama oretz? Says the Gemara, chad b'chatas v'chad b'oila. One of them is for chatas. This one is by chatas, and the previous one is by oila. Says the Gemara, tzrichan they both need a diash min chatas. If we just said chatas, mishum l'kaporahu, because it's a kapora. And since this guy obviously doesn't care about kapora, he's over avera. So why should we let him bring a chatas for a kapora if he's someone who will continuously transgress? Aval oila, but in oila, that's a doron. It's just a present. So let him bring a present. So we would say it may be accepted. Therefore, the pasuk has to tell me that even by an ola, we don't accept it from a mur. If he just told me oila mishum delav chiyuvahu, because it's not an obligation. I would say if you're someone who's a mumur, unless you're obligated, you shouldn't bring it. And therefore, an ola, since we're talking about an olas nedava, a donation, someone who wants to donate an ola, therefore we don't accept donations that are not obligatory from a mumur. But aval chatas, but a carbon chatas which is obligatory, the chiyuvahu emel kabamine. Maybe we should accept it. Therefore, tzricha, both are needed to teach us that by both you can bring carbon. Asks the Gemara on the previous brisa, which said mina behema teaches you that to include even paisha Yisrael shedaimin lebehema that are compared to animals could bring a carbon. It says the Gemara v'chol heicha tiksi behema. Every time it says behema in the pasuk gveyusahi, is it a negative connotation? Like over there, the Bryce is assuming it is negative. Someone that's compared to a behema, a paisha Yisrael. The Aksiv says the Gemara, Adam u behema tishiyashem. The verse says that both a man and beast God shall save. The Omer Bidam Rav explained Elu bnei Adam shein arumin. These are people that they are arumin b'das. They're clever. They're smart in their minds. Umesimin atzman kebehema, but still put themselves like animals. What does it mean? Put themselves like animals? They have humility. So you see over here that behema means a good thing. It means that they have anova. Says the Gemara, Hasam ksiv Adam u behema. Over there it puts it together, Adam and behema. Therefore it's a good thing. Hacha behema l'chudam. Behema is said alone, and therefore it has a negative connotation. Says the Gemara, do you really think that v'chol heicha ksiv Adam behema, every time it says Adam u behema together mal yusu, it's a positive thing? It means we would say that it means something good. Says the Gemara of Aksiv, doesn't say in the verse in Yirmiyahu, v'zorati es beis Yisrael, I will implant in the nation of Israel, Zera Adam, seeds of humans, Vizera Behema, and seeds of animals. And the Gemara and Sota darshans this in a negative way. Says the Gemara, Hasam ha'chalkei kra. No, over there, the reason why it means bad, because the verse, Adam and Behema aren't together. The pasuk separated it with the word Zera. It says Zera Adam and Zera Behema, so it's not right next to each other. Zera Adam l'chud, Zera Behema l'chud. The seeds of humans alone, a seed of Behema alone. So over there, it can mean in a negative way. The The Gemara continues. Amar Rab Chanan, Amar Rab Yaakov Bar Idi, in the name of Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi, Mishum Bar Kafar. Rabban Gamliel Beis Dinoi, Rabban Gamliel and his court, Nimnu, they voted al Shchitas Kusi Vasruhu. They decided that Shchitas Kusi is not permitted to eat. It's also to eat from a Kusi who slaughtered. Amalei Rav Zera, Rav Yaakov Bar Idi. Rav Zera tells Rav Yaakov Idi, Shema Lo Shema Rebbe, maybe Rebbe, meaning he's referring to Yaakov Idi, maybe you Rebbe only heard Ela b'she'eni Yisrael Amel Gav. When Yisrael is not supervising, so then the Shechita of a Kusi is not good. But if he's supervising, maybe it's okay. Amalei tells him back, Dami Hami Rabbanon. It seems to me that this rabbi, meaning referring to Reb Zera, is Kedeloi Gemiri Inchi Shmaitis. It's like someone who never learned anything. B'she'eni Yisrael Amel Gav, when if Yisrael is not supervising the Kusi, Lemem Rabbi does Rabban Gamliel even have to tell us that someone who does not, that if a Yisrael is not supervising over the Kusi, that it's not a good shechita? That's pashut. It's so simple. Rabban Gamliel would never have to tell us that. So must be, he means even if Yisrael is supervising, still it's not okay. Now the Gemara wants to know if kiblu minei or lo kiblu minei. Did Reb Zera accept this from this explanation of Rabban Gamliel from Rabbi Yaakov or not? That Rabban Gamliel even means when a Yisrael is supervising and still it's not okay. So now we're going to try to bring a proof to whether Reb Zera accepted or not. Tashma, there are Menachem Rayitzchak Rabasi. Ani Reisis Rabbi Yochanan. She'ochal min shchitas kusi. I saw Rabbi Yochanan that he ate from a kusi who was slaughtered. V'af Rabasi, also Rabasi ochal min shchitas kusi, ate from a kusi who was slaughtered, the meat that a kusi slaughtered. V'toy bar Reb Zera. Reb Zera was wondering, Lo yishmi Eilihu? Is it that they did not hear of Rabbi Yochanan, of Rabban Gamliel? But if they were to have that Rabban Gamliel voted to prohibit the shechita of a kusi, yes, he would have explained, he would have accepted it and he wouldn't have eaten it. Meaning, Rabbi Yochanan and Rabasi ate it. Why did they eat it? Is it because they just didn't hear what Rabban Gamliel says? But if they would have heard, they would have accepted. No, they would have. They did hear it, and they just didn't accept it. They argued. They didn't care to accept what Rabban Gamliel said. So Hadar Pashit Lenafshe. Then Reb Zera answered his wonder to himself. He explained it. Mistavra must be. It makes sense. The Shmielu, they had heard it. And they didn't accept it. Why? If you think, they heard, they did not hear it. But if they would have heard it, they would have accepted it, meaning they would have refrained from eating from the shechita of a kusi, because the Rabban Gamliel said. So milsa. How could it be that it came about? This thing came about that Rabban Yochanan would eat something that's not kosher. Hashta behemton shel tzadikim. If even the animals of tzadikim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu mevita kol al yodam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not bring a stumbling block upon them, which means even the animals of tzadikim. We'll see in the story. The Gemara will tell us that even the animals of tzadikim, Hashem doesn't let them eat kosher. Tzadikim atma l'kol shekain. For sure, tzadikim, Hashem will never let them eat not kosher. So from the fact that Rabbi Yochanan ate it, must be, even if he would have heard it, even if he would have heard that Rabban Gamliel said it was us, he wouldn't have accepted it, because he would have argued. And that's why he ate it. Because to him it would have been totally permissible. Because if you want to tell me that had he heard what Rabban Gamliel said, he wouldn't have eaten it, which means that really it was, in Rabbi Yochanan's mind, would have been usr. So then you're telling me that Rabbi Yochanan ate something that was considered not kosher, and that's not acceptable because the HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't let that happen. God's providence does not allow even the animals of tzaddikim, for sure tzaddikim themselves, to eat not kosher. Says the Gemara, back to our question of whether Reb Zera accepted what Rabbi Yaakov said, that even if a Yisrael is supervising over the kusi, it's not good. If Reb Zera did not accept this from Rabbi Yaakov, so Lishni Lei, Reb Zera should answer to himself, how could it be that Rabbi Yochanan ate the meat, not because he didn't accept what Rabban Gamliel said, but Kan Yisrael Amel Gabu. Rabbi Yochanan ate the meat from a kusi when a Yisrael was supervising. Kan Rabban Gamliel, who said it's not good, it's Kishein Yisrael Amel Gabu. There's no Yisrael supervising. Elallah, from the fact that Reb Zera did not answer this way, Shmami no Kibla Minei, Reb Zera understood and he agreed with Rabbi Yaakov, and he accepted it from Rabbi Yaakov, that when Rabban Gamliel said that a kusi's shchita is invalid, it's even when Yisrael is supervising. Shmami no. Ad kan Chulin Daf Vav.